All right, so John Dramani Mahama currently, he's a person a year uko Europa. They don't like how he's ruling with Trump. Now, Mahama came in and basically, we've seen, say, in terms of diplomatic relations, usually Ghana we've aligned more with the United States of America. But then John Dramani Mahama came in, and then we've seen, say, extensively, he's kind of aligned or shifted his diplomatic relations, especially he being the president of the Republic of Ghana, to or towards the Chinese and also people of the East and Asia and also Russia. Now, Mino say, Mahama has been playing this card, and just when people thought say Mahama was just, playing the card of shifting to Chinese people and I said being in good terms with Russia, China, and yeah, and we also saw say he was also said you in bed with the US government because share countries Africa, Ghana is one of the few countries that have a deal with the United States of America to receive deportees, West African immigrants. And even far from that too, all the visa sanctions and now visa ban US for added to various African countries and Ghana can't. What we saw was that in the United States of America, for some reason, they have released this particular ban and a visa ban on Ghana. So the game at Mahama airplane, it is something at the end of the day, we need to actually learn from this. Now, in aid of this, Mahama during the State of the Nation address, and I said during his press release to the nation, or address to the nation, he said that the government has gone into a deal with the United States of America to receive West African immigrants, immigrants, because these African countries, West African countries, West Africa, Nina, Nigeria, Benin, Oba Ghana, you are free to come to Ghana. So it is only wise, say, we take West African immigrants and at the end of the day, repatriate them to their various countries. So Mahama said he's gone into an agreement with the United States of America to receive West African immigrants US eba. And far from that, omaji bear 10, now no omaji 40. But then these West African immigrants, they are suing the Mahama administration. We spoke about this the last time. Countries in Europe are most of them pro-immigration. So okay, they want African immigrants, refugees to come into their countries. No, they are seeing this as Mahama being in bed with the U.S. government, and at the end of the day, if Mahama, President Donald Trump if he's not in power again, they may pursue legal action against Mahama. Legal action they crash. And now straight up, they call Ghana web. Now, it's for exactly what is on the screen. So show the whole screen. So I'll say governments of Ghana sued over US deportee deal. Or see government of Ghana sued over US deportee deal. So in here we are learning that most of these immigrants at the end of the day, they were deported to our country Ghana. They are angry. They are saying that Mahama subjected them to some kind of torture, so to some sort of to a lifestyle, and I said something at the end of the day, it wasn't humane. So what are they saying here, and how does this even affect our country Ghana? Now, yesterday the West News said the government of Ghana has reportedly been sued over its deal to receive West African deportees from the United States of America. So as we were saying, this deal is under scrutiny, and currently the governments of Ghana have been sued. Also, according to several reports by major US outlets, including AP, which is Associated Press News, the government was sued by a Ghanaian human rights group, Democracy Hub, which is representing the latest 14 US migrants deported to Ghana. So, Senator Midi can Mahama, see, and he sue or not any administration together with himself, and they are suing him based on violating human rights. It's deportation and a deportee deal Mahama administration had with the United States of America, and clearly, they are saying say a boom brasso. It also harms or kills the human rights of these individuals. And guess what? Nipa ODH ama all of these people, these deportees, Oliver Barker Vomo. We'll come back to that later. But also the reports by AP News indicated that the renowned Ghanaian human rights activist Oliver Barker Vomo, who is a lawyer for the 14 deportees, described the government's move as illegal. So as I was saying, this same Oliver Barker Vomo during the Akufo-Addo administration, they be or yeah fix the country demonstration. Ultimately, he was tortured, jailed near the Adeno. Or campaigning ya Mahama, ya didn't ba power. No, he's the same person suing the John Dramani Mahama administration for what he calls say. One more, ye deportee on my background and Mahama and then the administration, they violated these people, their human rights, and he's even saying it's illegal. So he argued that the deportation of the US migrants to Ghana was unlawful because it lacks the approval of the country's parliament. So this is what they are saying. So you see, Oba Ghana yembra na. For us to have a deal with any foreign country, it needs to go through parliament. It needs to be passed by the majority. In this case, NDC has the super majority in parliament. But then Oliver Baka-Vomowo, any these deportees, together with the Democracy Hub, party say, it needed to go to parliament. If this deal we've had with the United States Trump administration, if it was going to help us or not. Also, his group Democracy Hub filed a lawsuit Tuesday against Ghana's government, alleging the agreement with Washington is unconstitutional because it wasn't approved by Ghanaian parliament, and that it may violate conventions that forbid sending people to countries where they could face persecution. Part of the reports read. So Democracy Hub, Oliver Baka-Vomowo, audio minim I sue Ghana's government and Ghana's president. One party say, deal Mahama have it with Trump. The deal, there was a clause inside said they would deport these people to third world countries, and the third world countries, unfortunately, Ghana is a third world because it's a developing nation. And our party said, moving someone from the US to these third world countries without proper documentation and a proper procedure, it infringes on the rights of these deportees. And our party said it violates the conventions and also the human rights of these people. I see. Baka-Vomowo is reported to have said that the 14 West African nationals who arrived on Monday, October 13, 2025, bring the total number of the US deportees accepted by the government of Ghana to 42. The report also indicated Ghana's Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Fosu-Kwakye, who also serves as a spokesperson for the president, has said that Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dominic Akutinga Ayini will be defending the state in court. So, Democracy Hub, which is also led by Oliver Baka-Vomowo, is saying, sue Ghana, two people, Felix Fosu-Kwakye, who's the head of the government communications, together with Attorney General Dominic Ayini, they'll be defending the country and Mahama and administration in court. Also, they are saying, just 3 days ago, another 12 immigrants, another 14 West African immigrants, arrived from the US to Ghana. Okay, they arrived from the US to Ghana. It's in Osha. Still now, these people are being deported and nothing is being done to stop them. Meanwhile, one of the African deportees from the United States who was received by Ghana to be repatriated to his home country has claimed that they had been abandoned in Togo. What makes this deal a bit cringy and a bit sad is the fact, one more you deport you with US aba Ghana no. Du Ghana, na Ghana aban at the Omashe Bema camp. They are heavily guarded by soldiers. Immediately afterwards, the baby so fi so me fi Cote d'Ivoire, me fi ye deport akọ your country of origin. It's one person na ono so no okasa ankofo ehu ano ye deporting oba ye no. Ye deporting no country of origin afa na ankoho yakugya ne si Togo. According to a BBC report on October 1st, 2025, the US deportee, who is a Nigerian, accused government of Ghana of dumping him and 5 other deportees in Togo. He claimed they have told them they were being transferred to a better accommodation only to find themselves stranded in a hotel in Togo. So, according to other 5 people, Mpacha say, ye deportee omono efi Ghana no. Ghana government take a so ye do ko baby ye kama. A place that is nice, a place that will give you, the kind of the peace that you deserve. But then what we saw was that ultimately, these people, they've been abandoned. Transfer, and you do Togo. Yeah, the omo air then echo Togo. At the end of the day, you could see clearly say this was basically not what they signed up for. This was not basically what they signed up for. At the end of the day, you could see that these people are very much angry. And they are saying, say, they can say vehemently, say, it has affected their rights as not just African citizens, but also no Yankan say they will have been subjected to this kind of torture and this kind of inhumane practices. At the end of the day, you could see that these things are echoes. They are saying, say, it does not augur well for them. So, therefore, this is exactly what is really going on. People are not happy with what is really going on. And at the end of the day, there's been many concerns are ever. At the end of the day, people are reacting to this, and people are saying, say, Mahama administration needs to do something. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, we can know exactly what is really going on. So, my at the end of the day, my concerning all these issues are echo. So now at the end of the day, let us see what you think as we begin to move on to other issues regarding the current issue. Top so president of Ghana, he is facing a tremendous backlash over a deal he had with the United States of America. Because of that, some people are suing him left and right. We are learning a case, they are suing Ghana's government together with President John Dramani Mahama. And at the end of the day, what will also happen is that Mahama quickly court over a deal, according to them, this particular deal or have it with the United States of America, a deal now it was a parliament approve. And also these people are deportee or mabano, they are being subjected to a whole lot of things. At the end of the day, these things that they are being subjected to therefore, on this same deportees issue, Ibrahim Traore is having his moment with Donald Trump. Now, as Ghana is receiving deportees from the United States of America to kind of reverse a visa ban, Burkina Faso, the case is otherwise, because Burkina Faso is rather taking a conventional approach and as a retaliatory approach. This particular approach that they are taking, you could see clearly well say they don't want to be in bed with Donald Trump, and they are saying that Donald Trump might have power as the world's most popular or powerful person or powerful president, but then they also will hold their ground to show say Donald Trump, he controls the world and he controls the US, but then he does not control people or the minds or common sense of people. And one person who's leading this particular evolution is none other than Captain Ibrahim Traore. And on your screens, what you see, reporter Abba, this particular reporter Abba, and you could see Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore saying that he is taking Donald Trump head on head. Now look at this. I say Burkina Faso says Americans must now apply for a visa online or obtain it from their embassy in Washington DC before they can enter their country. So if you don't know basically what is really going on, just some few days ago, the United States of America, the government in the US, they closed down their visa in Ouagadougou, that's the capital town of Burkina Faso. Now, this was after Burkina Faso said they were not going to receive deportees, unlike what Ghana's president and Ghana is doing. And because of that, Trump was saying, you don't say no to America. It is not possible. So what Trump did, Trump went far ahead to visa ban the country. So let us put this on the screens and then we'll explain this particular retaliatory move which came from the Burkina Faso. Now this ABC, American Broadcast News, it says Burkina Faso rejects proposal to accept deportees from US. So this particular action that came, that was what infuriated the United States of America to say that if you are not going to receive deportees, then we may as well close our embassy in Ghana and also move on further to visa ban you. So let us read this. It says Burkina Faso says it has refused a proposal from the Trump administration to accept deportees from the United States. So here it is telling us why Burkina Faso He's saying that this whole visa deportees deal that many countries like Uganda, Eswatini, Ghana, and various countries are having with the US, Burkina Faso says it is not going to do the same thing. Now, it further goes on to say that the West African country was asked whether it will accept non-citizens expelled by the US, in addition to its own nationals. Foreign Minister Karamoko Jean-Marie Traore said on Thursday said Thursday on national television that naturally these proposals, which we deem indecent at that time, is totally contrary to the value of dignity, which is part of the very essence of the vision of Captain Ibrahim Traore. Furthermore, he said, referring to the country's military ruler, the remark came only a few hours after the U.S. Embassy in the U.S. capital, Ouagadougou, suspended most visa services for Burkina Faso residents, redirecting applicants to its embassy in neighboring Togo. The embassy did not give a reason for the move. So here, what we are seeing is so simple. What we are seeing here is so simple. Now, when the US approached Burkina Faso to receive immigrants, Burkina Faso said it was not going to receive any immigrants, whether it is their own Burkinabés in the US who have overstayed and who are being deported from the US. They are not going to receive them because Captain Ibrahim Traore is all about, making sure of projecting Africanism and also the dignity of it. So, deporting people in such a way that is not really dignified, he said he was not going to take it. And one other thing that he said that also was basically like a slap in the face of the United States government was saying that, they don't believe the actions or these actions which is coming from the United States of America was something to write home about. So let's continue. Say, citing a US diplomatic note accusing Burkinabe nationals of not complying with visa usage rules, Karamoko Jean-Marie Traore called the move a possible pressure tactic and said Burkina Faso is a land of dignity, not deportation. So the Ibrahim Traore administration was saying that this particular tactics, which was coming from the Trump administration, is something that was more of a pressure tactics, like you're pressuring the Burkina Faso government, to basically coerce them or force them into receiving migrants, that this particular migrants that they are receiving, they've not signed up for. They've not signed up for these migrants. And at the end of the day, they believe that it is something that at the end of the day, doesn't augur well for the country or in terms of dignity of Africans. It further goes on to say more than 40 deportees have been sent to Africa since July after the Trump administration struck a largely secretive agreement with at least 5 African nations to take migrants under a new third country deportation program. Rights group and others have protested the program. So in here, they are saying that even though Burkina Faso said they are not going to take the deportees, countries like Ghana and other countries in West Africa have said these deals are a good deal. So ultimately, they've received them. Now, one other thing you also have to note in all of these things that is really going on is that when Ghana received these kind of deportees or these deportees, it was okay. Quickly, our visa ban was reversed, and then ultimately we are now in good books with the United States of America. But because Burkina Faso refused, immediately after this refusal, the embassy of the United States of America in Burkina Faso was ordered by the Trump administration to shut down. And immediately after shutting down, what we also saw was that it also went on further to say that if any Burkina Faso national wants to basically come into their country, they have to go to the nearest the nearest embassy around their country, in this case, Togo. So if you are in Burkina Faso and you want to go to the United States of America, because the embassy in Ouagadougou have been shut down, you have to go to neighboring Togo. And because of this, what we saw was that the Burkina Faso have also responded in kind. So how did they basically respond? They responded by saying that if at the end of the day, US have closed down their embassy in Ouagadougou, okay, citing that, at the end of the day, all these things that is going on, that is why the US are close down their embassy, we are also going to do the same. So now, Burkina Faso is also saying that in all of these things that have gone on, they understand the game very well. So any American who wants to come into Burkina Faso, they are also going to subject this same American to the same vigorous rules. The same vigorous rules that America is now subjecting innocent Burkina Faso citizens to. He's going to subject them to these kind of rules. Same rules. So if you are a Burkina Faso citizen, if you are an American citizen, you want to go to Burkina Faso, what you have to do is you have to also make sure that because the embassy have closed, you have to go online, okay, and then apply. And at the end of the day, they will basically think about it if they will let you into their country or not. So clearly the tensions between these two countries escalate. That's why what you see on the screen. It says that Burkina Faso says that Americans must now apply for a visa online or obtain it from their embassy in Washington DC before they can enter their country. So now it's not visa free for Americans. You have to actually obtain a visa, and this tells you how the tensions between these countries. So that is exactly one of the things that is basically happening, that has basically drawn the reaction of a lot of people right here in this country. So we'll also be moving to Mali, because you also have a breaking news about something that is going on in Mali. Mali too is also responding. Mali too also believes that the way the Trump administration is handling them in terms of visa banning them, they believe that it's something that they are not really happy about. So what is Mali doing about all of this? Let's take a listen to this particular report. So a new report coming from the British Broadcasting Corporation says that Mali has announced the US that... Okay, let me start again. A new report coming from the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC News, says Mali has announced that US nationals visiting the West African country will be required to post a bond of up to $10,000 for business and tourist visas in response to a similar requirement the Trump administration has imposed on its citizens. So, for those of you who don't know, we get into the details of this. Trump's administration is tightening its grip on immigration policies. Okay, so for African countries like Ghana, Uganda, Nigeria, and co, they are saying that these African countries, before you even... Ghana's own have been lifted, by the way, so we are cool, because we had an agreement to take deportees from the US. But then these countries who have refused to take deportees from the US have ratcheted up its pressure on them by saying that, hey, in as much as we've closed down your embassy, our embassy in your country, and aside from the fact that we are also saying that we are not going to grant you access to 5-year multiple entry visas into the United States, this time around it's 3 months, we are also going to require your citizens who want to visit the United States of America to post a bond of up to $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000. Now, a bond is basically you putting money down before an agreement is made, so that if you kind of forfeit on those arguments or those agreements that you've had with another party, that bond, which usually is money, assets, land, in most cases money, will be taken. So if, let's say, I'm a Ugandan citizen and the United States of America have said they've closed down the embassy, regardless if I want to get a visa from Uganda, they are not going to grant me 5-year visa. They're not going to grant me 5-year multiple entry visa, which when they give me that 5-year multiple entry visa, I can go to the US anytime and come back within that 5-year period of that 5-year window. But then when they've cancelled that, so which means I'm only allowed into the US 3 months. So when I exceed my stay in the US for over 90 days, I have to come back and renew, which is a bit hectic, because considering the fact you have to board the plane, go and come, the cost and all of that. And for students and those who are working in the United States of America, it's a bit hectic. So apart from all of these things that the Trump administration have put in place, they are saying that they are also going to require me, in this instance, a Ugandan citizen who wants to go to the United States of America, to post a bond of $20,000 before they give me the visa, the 3 months visa to the United States of America. So if I go to the US and I don't come back, the United States Embassy can take the money and then give it to their government. And $20,000 is no joke. That's like someone's 5-year or 10-year salary in the country, in Ghana. Now, Mali was one of those countries which was basically hit with this particular directive from the Trump administration. So, what did the Mali what did the Mali president do? For those of you who don't know, Mali's president, okay, currently, the name of Mali's president now, the name of Mali's president now is Mali Jaman Kutigi. Forgive me if I don't get the name right. But the president of the Republic of Mali